In today's class, we are going to learn about how an organization's vision and mission can be created. Beyond that, we will also be learning how vision and mission statements that we come across can be evaluated to verify whether they are adequate and sufficient enough. Thereafter, we will also delve into the issue of ethics, social responsibility, and sustainability, and discuss why these issues must take a center stage in the strategic management process. And this is the outline that we will be using today. It's quite enormous, but we are going to focus on the most salient ones as we relegate the rest to the background. So in our meeting last week, I explained a company's vision as simply a statement that aligns its long-term aspirations or imperatives. And it also communicates what a particular company aims to achieve in the foreseeable future. Now, this indicates that a vision statement should be in a position to clearly capture this definition that I just went through. And by saying it should be able to capture it, I am simply referring to the extent to which the organization's long-term aspirations can be expressed in clear and unequivocal terms. Now, vision statements are also said to answer a primary question. That is, what do organizations want to become? So when vision statements are clearly expressed, it helps managers and other executives in an organization to agree on the basic purpose, the basic vision that the firm strives to achieve in the long term. For that reason, we can see vision statement serves as a guide for all future actions and decisions, providing a clear picture of what an organization aims to achieve in the foreseeable future. A vision statement can also be expressed as the aspiration of the organization, which indicates where the organization intends to be in the foreseeable future, although some may go ahead to indicate how they may want to get there. So any expression of an organization's aspirations that strives to answer the question where they want what they want to become connotes vision statements. So still on vision statement and its attempt to answer the question, what do we want to become? Vision statement should have some characteristics. That is, it should be short, preferably one sentence, so that many managers as possible can consolidate their ideas in a more crystal manner. So what we are saying over here is that the expression of a company's vision shouldn't be too wide, such that it will be difficult for you to get deeper meaning out of it after you have experienced or read it. But rather, it should be as much as possible short and crispy, so that whoever reads it or experience it will be informed about whatever the organization wants to become. A vision statement is also said to be an optimistic statement about what the business would like to look like in the future. So when we say it is an optimistic statement about what an organization would like to look like in the future, we simply mean that the vision statement should reflect a positive and, if you like, an aspirational view of the company's future. So it should embody the highest hopes that the company aspires to achieve, and it should also have ambitions for what the organization seeks to achieve, serving as a source of inspiration and motivation. And when one is crafting vision statements, one is admonished to focus on the utopian outcome, which means that there should be an emphasis on the ideal end states. The critical end must be in view, or the ultimate goals that an organization aims to achieve, rather than dealing with specific actions or steps that need to be there. So when you say you are expressing the vision following the utopian outcome, it simply means that you should not be concerned about the specific actions and decisions that must be taken now before you can achieve the foreseeable goal in future. Rather, your concern should be on whatever you want to achieve in the at the end of the day. So it is the end that must drive your craft of a vision statement, but not what you will be doing now or in the interim to attain it. Now, when you pursue the utopian outcome approach, the approach is said to help one to create a clear and compelling picture of the future. And that clarity can also inspire and motivate all other stakeholders that will be involved in the formulation and the drafting of the vision statement. The vision statements are also expected to reveal the type of business that a firm engages in. And there are a number of reasons which can be supplied to elucidate why the vision statement is expected to designate a firm's core business. One of the reasons why vision statement should reveal the type of business a firm engages in is that it brings forth clarity and focus. So what that means is that clearly stating the business type will help it will help in internal and external stakeholders to understand what the company does. And this will also help them align their expectations and efforts accordingly. So when there is an absence of vision statement, it will more or less like keep them in darkness. But the vision will give them clarity for them to align their efforts accordingly. Another reason why vision statements are also expected to be cached to reveal the type of business that a particular firm engages in is that the statement alone serves as a guiding strategy for the organizational operations. And What this means is that it provides a clear direction for strategic planning. And this will ensure that all business activities are aligned with the company's core competencies. And resources will also be allocated and tilted towards the attainment of these important, or if you like, salient activities of the firm. Another reason why it is important for business statement to reveal the type of business that a firm engages in is that that alone can help the firm obtain brand identity. So when a vision statement is able to explicitly mention the business types, this will reinforce the company's identity and core mission and help in establishing a strong brand presence in the market. So it will help us demarcate whatever the firm wants to do from what the rivals may also be in for. It may also serve as an avenue to attract talent. And when I say talent here, I'm referring to potential employees that can better understand the company's domain. So if they also have a similar aspiration in life, particularly in an environment where there isn't scarcity of job openings, under such circumstances, individuals will also be inclined to work for you simply because there is an alignment of their personal aspirations as well as that of the company's aspirations. And so by projecting it out there, it is an avenue to also attract talents into an organization. So let's consider some examples of mission statements and see whether they are able to project the organization's business in question. If you take Amazon, which is an e-commerce firm, their vision statement is to be the Earth's most customer-centric company, where customers can find and discover anything they may want to buy online. So they're essentially trying to say that they want to be the go-to company wherein customers that aspire to buy anything in the world can easily access it online. So implicit, in fact, explicitly in this statement of Amazon is that the business type that they are into is e-commerce and offering a customer-centered retail services. Okay. And very soon we will also be looking at other ones. So if you take Microsoft also have its vision statement as to help people and businesses through the world realize their full potentials. And implicit in this is that Microsoft will be offering technology-related innovations or solutions to make the lives of its stakeholders worthwhile, to ease their life for them. Google also has its mission statement as to provide access to the world's information in one click, which means that their core business is to offer information, to make information accessible to all and sundry. Now, mission statement. Last week too, we learned briefly about mission statement as a concise expression of an organization's fundamental purpose or reason for being in existence. So whereas the vision statement projects an organization's goals that it aspires to achieve in the foreseeable future, mission statement rather expresses the fundamental purpose for being in existence. For that reason, mission statement focuses on the actions that will be taken to attain the vision. In other words, it helps us to answer the question, how can we achieve the ultimate goal of the organization? Mission statements are also said to reveal what an organization wants to be and whom it wants to serve. On that basis, mission statements are said to be enduring statements of purpose that distinguish one business from similar other businesses. And when it is properly crafted or expressed, it helps us in identifying the scope of a firm's operations in terms of the products or the markets that it operates or aspires to operate in. Typically, a mission statement strives to answer a number of questions, including what business an organization stands to perform, what will constitute the products that the organization will be churning into the market. So it could be product or services, depending on the firm that we are talking about. Mission statement is also expected to specify the target group of the organization, be it the customers, clients, or stakeholders that are earmarked to have interest in patronizing the organizational activities. And it also strives to answer the question, how do we meet the needs of our target group? So simply, we can put it that mission statements specify who you are as an organization, what you exist for, how you do what you do as an organization, and for who you exist to satisfy or serve. So let's quickly take a look at some mission statements. So Google has its mission statements as being there to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So in terms of the purpose, if you interrogate this statement from Google, in terms of its purpose, we can all deduce that their main purpose is to organize and provide accessible information to the general public. In terms of its target audience, if we interrogate it carefully, we can also discern that everyone that is seeking information falls within the target of Google. So provided you are interested in finding one information or the other, then you can always go to Google to search for that information. Nike also has its mission statement to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. So if we also interrogate this statement from Nike, we can derive that their purpose of being in existence is to inspire and innovate in sports. So to inspire people that are already in sports and also to bring innovation for those that fancy sporting activities. And they do this by providing products that can enhance one's participation and ease in the sports discipline. Now, in terms of their target audience, we can say all athletes and sports enthusiasts fall within the target audience of Nike. And that is how you can analyze mission statements to identify the purpose that it strives to achieve for the organization, as well as the targeted audience that it strives to serve. And you can even discern the specific core activities that a firm exists to accomplish. And if you take a sober look at that of Nike, their core activity will be to design and manufacture sports apparels and equipments. Whilst that of the first one, Google. Google will also, some of its core activities will be engaging or bringing forth information technology and internet services to ease information search on the internet. Now, how do we develop vision and mission statements? The development of vision and mission statement is not a one-time activity, but it is a continuous activity that goes through several hurdles and mills until a refinement is attained. Generically speaking, whatever we'll be doing today is more or less like a template, depending on the issue and the details you may want to fish out for an organization. You may bring out additional loops beyond these stages that we will be perusing. So, as we are all aware, clear vision and mission statements are needed before any form of alternative strategies can be formulated or implemented, because it is these vision and mission statements that will drive the formulation of your strategies on the strategic table. And the general practice is that as many as possible, as many managers as possible should be involved in the process of developing these statements, because through their involvement, they will also be communicating with their various constituents, that is the people that work beneath them. And that will lead to the general populace becoming committed to the adoption of the mission and ensuring that its implementation succeeds. So the first stage in the process of developing mission and vision statements borders on preparation and information gathering. And what happens during this first stage is that an attempt is made to select several articles or sources of information that can explain the important elements and possible examples of an effective mission and vision. And these articles will provide the managers with a strong understanding of what makes these statements useful. So as much as possible, the managers that are going to be invited to help in the forge of the vision and mission statement needs to be furnished with a number of article or reading resources that can help put them at par with best practices as far as quality mission and vision statements are concerned. Now, having selected these articles, it is important to distribute them with the managers for them to start informing and updating their knowledge about them. Then the second phase in the development of mission and vision statements is also the stage where individual managers are given the opportunity to prepare ahead of time. So when they receive these articles or learning resources that can inform them on how to formulate a quality vision and mission statement, there is the need to ask them to read on their own and prepare their own vision and mission statement for the organization. This is important because when you do not allow ample time for them to prepare ahead, but they all come and meet and decide to prepare on the decision-making table, there is the likelihood that the first commentary or submission that will be made will be seconded by all and sundry. So as much as possible, giving them ample time to prepare ahead of time will ensure diverse perspective and insight from different parts of the organization. So the manager from accounting and finance will be coming on board with his own crafts that is informed by his appreciation of issues from his departmental level. The HR will be doing the same. The operations manager, marketing manager, or whatever manager we also have in the organization will bring their own insights and perspective in terms of formulating the vision statement. Then, as much as possible, managers must be admonished during the formulation of their peculiar vision and mission statements to consider the core elements of the organization, such as the purpose, the target audience, the core activities, and the values of the organization when they are crafting it. When this is done, it reduces the task ahead of them, particularly when they all come together under the guidance of a facilitator to consolidate the varied mission statements that have been developed by the various managers. So that brings us to the third stage of the development of mission and vision statement. The third stage involves the activity of a facilitator, or so it depends if it is the committee that has been empowered to develop the mission statement has its own head, then that head will steer the affairs. Other than that, there may also be a predetermined facilitator that will help them reconcile their commonalities and differences. So in this third stage, there is the need to formulate a committee wherein the facilitator of the committee, usually one of the managers, helps the rest to review all the received vision and mission statements from the managers, and then merge all the individual statements into a consolidated one. Now, by putting all the statements together through the guidance of the facilitator and the contribution of all the managers that form part and parcel of the committee, it results in the putting together of a draft of the mission and vision statement. So the facilitator will help in synthesizing the inputs from all the managers into a single draft for both the vision and the mission statement. Now, once the draft is obtained, it doesn't end there. It commences the next stage, which involves the distribution of the draft statements back to all the managers that commence the operation. So there is the need to circulate the drafted vision and mission statements to all the managers for further review. And this will be an opportunity for them to peruse and juxtapose their formulated mission and visions to that of their peers or colleague managers who also contributed in the formulation of other vision and missions. So they will place it side by side. And by reviewing it, they may come back to either drop their initial mission and vision to accept other ones, or they may decide to do some additions and subtractions and deletions to consolidate or modify the drafts until it gets to an appreciable standard. Now, after a number of backs and forth to review the drafted mission, it is important for feedback to be collected from the managers again, and these feedback are compiled. And a meeting is thereafter held on it in order to discuss the revisions that have been received on the drafts. Now, that deliberations will also go on until consensus or finalization is received as far as the mission and vision statements are concerned. And even though consensus will be reached by the committee, there is the need for them to also present it to top management for approval. So there is a communication back to management for them to see the final revision of the mission and vision. And if they are also okay with it, they can still continue with the communication by organizing a wider communication wherein all stakeholders of the organization will be informed about the newly formulated or developed mission and vision for the organization. The benefits of utilizing this approach, that is starting with the selection of articles to finally presenting it to the entire stakeholders of the organization. The benefit is that it leads to an inclusive process wherein the process engages managers from different levels and departments, ensuring that the vision and mission statement reflects the diverse perspectives and insights of key stakeholders in the organization, as opposed to a situation where it will be given to a single manager who may not have his eyes on all the happenings across the length and breadth of the organization. So when it is pursued in this regard, it leads to an all-inclusive agenda. Another benefit of this particular process, that is when you engage all stakeholders to develop the draft and finally get it approved, is that it can lead to alignment, and consistency across the organization. What this means is that it will ensure that across the length and breadth of the organization, everyone working in there will strive towards the same goal and will also be guided by the same principles. What are the relevance or importance of vision and mission statements? According to Kane and Cleland, expression of vision and mission statements seeks to make sure that all employees as well as their managers understand the firm's purpose or reason for being in existence. It will explicitly project to them what the company in question strives to achieve and why it is in being in the first place. The second benefit is that it also provides a basis for prioritizing key internal and external factors that are usually utilized to formulate feasible strategies. And the third one is that it also provides a basis for allocating organizational resources. Explicitly in vision and mission statements will be key organizational priorities. So if an organization aspires to get there in time, then it becomes relevant that their resources will also be dedicated towards such priorities. And that is what the third point seeks to communicate. And the last but not the least benefit for having vision and mission statement is that it provides a basis for organizing work, departments, activities. So simply put, it helps in the structuring of an organization, wherein departmentalizations, lines of communications, hierarchy of command, and all rules of engagement will be typified. Now, the characteristics of mission statement. A good mission statement is said to allow for the generation and consideration of a range of feasible alternatives, alternative objectives, and strategies without unduly stifling management creativity, which means that the expression of mission statement should be cast in a flexible manner so that all and sundry will be able to discern and relate with it. The mission statement is also said to need to be broad to reconcile differences effectively and appeal to an organization's diverse stakeholders. So if you are able to state in explicit terms what an organization, the purpose for an organization's existence, and this is expressed in such a manner that everyone is able to relate to, then it is a good feature. Beyond what I just said, every mission statement is supposed to have it's supposed to satisfy 9 main qualities. The first one is that the mission statement must be broad in scope, which means the statement must avoid specifics. The statement must avoid specifics like monetary amounts, numbers, percentages, and what have you. So let me give you an example for you to understand what I mean by when we say it should be broad, but it must avoid specifics. When a particular organization expresses in their mission statement that they want to increase revenue by 10% annually. Those of you that have accounting and finance background will tell us that 10% of growth today may diminish or may not be the same with the passage of time. So to avoid some of these diminution in value, instead of saying to increase revenue by 10% annually, you can rather say you want to drive sustainable growth. So instead of saying 10%, we are admonishing that you avoid the use of percentages or numbers in your mission statement, so that when the particular number loses its value in future, your statement will still be able to stand the test of time. And that is why we are saying we should rather use expressions that are more sustainable. The second feature of mission statement is that it is supposed to be concise. So what do we mean by it has to be concise? It means it should be fewer than 150 words in length. That means that any mission statement that will be expressed should be straight to the point. In other words, it should be succinct. So if you are writing beyond 150 words, then it means you may end up saying things in a convoluted manner, and that can even confuse your stakeholders. For as much as possible, you need to be economical with your writing. Then the third feature is that it must be inspiring. It should have the ability to motivate and engage employees and all its stakeholders. So when they read it, they should have the motivation to associate with it. And if you remember the mission statement of Nike that I presented a while ago, they were of the view that they want to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world, which means that if you are an athlete that wants to, even if you are not an athlete, but you are a sports fanatic and you want to participate in that discipline and embrace it wholeheartedly, then definitely it is going to inspire you to patronize their apparels. The next feature is that it identifies the utility of a firm's products. And what this simply means is that the mission statement should clearly state the benefits or utility that the product or service provides. Okay, so if you read a particular mission statement, you should be able to discern the benefits that will accrue when you patronize in the product or the services of that company. So Google will say that they want to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Okay, they will say you want to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And this indicates that the utility or the benefits of Google services is to make information, not just information, but credible information accessible to everyone in the world. The fifth one is about revealing the firm is social responsible. So it borders on social responsibility, which must demonstrate that the firm is committed to social causes and responsibilities, and the firm is not in any position to do something that will be detrimental to the community or society where it operates. It is very much important for this to be expressed. Although it may not be explicitly captured in an organization's mission statement. The sixth one also borders on their environmental responsibility, which indicates the firm's commitment to environmental sustainability. To what extent is the firm ready to go at great length to ensure that their activities and actions will not in any way be destroying the environment where it resides? The seventh one is that it must ideally include 9 components. So if you pick any mission statement and you interrogate it, you can discern whether it is properly crafted or not when you are able to deduce these 9 components from it. And what are these 9 components? They include the customers, that is who the firm is seeking to serve, the products or services that the firm offers, the market where the firm operates, the technological aspects of the firm, and concerns the firm's concern for survival, growth, or profitability. The firm's focus, so that one will focus on the firm's the degree to which the firm can achieve a sustainable growth. Another component should also touch on the firm's philosophy. That is what constitutes the firm's values and belief system. Then another component is the firm's self-concept. So if it were to be a description of human being, when we say your self-concept, it's simply an expression of yourself. But relating it to organizations, when we say an organization's self-concept, we are simply referring to the organization's strengths and competitive advantages. So what are the capabilities that it can reside on in order to achieve either competitive advantage or sustainable one? Then it should also have component for concerns for public image. So how does the firm want to be perceived by the general public? It should also have concern for the employees that are working assiduously in it. So that is why we are saying it should be committed to its workforce. Okay. Now, so as an illustration, let me use Microsoft's mission statement as an illustration, and then we will decompose it. As we witnessed a while ago, Microsoft captioned its mission statement to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. So they are striving to empower every person or every organization on the planet Earth in order for them to achieve more. If you peruse this statement, you realize that as far as these 9 components are concerned, the customers of Microsoft include every person and every organization. And the products or services of Microsoft include empowering through technology. So they produce some form of technology or innovation which can equally be utilized to enhance business processes. Their markets, the market of Microsoft is global. So it is not restricted to a portion of the world, but wherever you are in this global village we have yourself, and you have the means to patronize their services, they will also be ready to serve you. So their market is global. Still from the statements, it was not explicitly indicated the technology that they will be using, but obviously it is assumed that all their activities will be championed by some form of technology. So sometimes a mission statement may not have certain of these, some of these 9 components explicitly indicated, but we can also deduce it based on what is at stake. Now, in terms of their concern for survival and growth, or if you like, profits, it is also implicitly found in the statement that Microsoft. Hello, can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
in terms of their survival, it is also implied in it that it is implicitly found in the statement that they have a focus on sustainability and growth. That is, if you look at the portion where they said they want everyone to achieve more. The attainment of more in this regard can be construed as doing something that will be what? Sustainable. So we can discern that their concern for survival and growth is also implicitly captured in there. Now, their philosophy can be discerned as having the penchant to empower others. And their self-concepts can also be discerned as being driven by technology and innovation. As far as their concern for the public, concern for public image is concerned, we can say based on the statement that they have a positive global impact. And their concern for employees too can be discerned as empowering individuals and organizations. So they have employees at heart. Now, the 8th feature or characteristics of mission statement is that it must also strive to be reconciliatory. And what this means is that mission statements are supposed to balance and align various interests and viewpoints within an organization. It is not supposed to superimpose the viewpoints of the majority over the minority in the organizational context. It is also not supposed to demean others as far as their viewpoints is concerned. So rather, it's supposed to balance and reconcile varied interests and opinions in the organization. So as much as possible, it should be something that all and sundry in the organization will want to identify with, but it shouldn't be something that will remind individuals of their predicaments. And when we say it should be enduring, it simply means that the mission statement should be long-lasting and it shouldn't be frequently changed. So that is why it is important for us to take our time to develop a mission statement that will stand the test of time. So during the development stage, it is the enduring feature of the mission statement. That is why there is much back and forth. The drafts have to be thoroughly revised to receive varied feedback, and all the opinions that will be coming up will also be consolidated to see how best it can help the missions and vision statement to be formulated. So these are the 9 components that I was talking about. And when you go, you can take your time and look at them. Mission statements are also expected to reflect the anticipations of customers. And that is what we mean when we say it must have a customer orientation. So rather than developing a product and then trying to find a market for that particular product, the operating philosophy of an organization should be to identify customer needs and then provide products and services that will fulfill those needs. For that reason, mission statements are expected to be customer-centric. Generally speaking, an effective mission statement should satisfy these 5 points if it strives to be customer-oriented or customer-centric. That is, it is expected to define what the organization is and what the organization aspires to be. It should also be limited enough to exclude some ventures and broad enough to allow for creative growth. And this part is very much important because if the organization is not able to demarcate this very well, at the end of the day, they may end up entering into business markets where there is no need for their goods and services, whilst they will be avoiding other business markets where their services are readily needed. So as much as possible, that demarcation needs to be drawn. By the end of today's service, beyond that, mission statements are also expected to distinguish a given organization from all others. And it is when it is able to do this that the organization will be able to identify plausible opportunities in the business markets and seize those opportunities by aligning its internal capabilities to it. Mission statements are also expected to serve as a framework for evaluating both current and prospective activities. And lastly, they are also expected to be stated in terms of sufficiently clear to be widely understood throughout the organization. And that point is very much important because if the articulation of the statement is fraught with terminologies and jargons that are alien to the organization in question, then individuals will struggle to identify and clarify what it seeks to achieve. Now, we are going to analyze this mission statement and evaluate it to see whether it is able to capture all the 9 components that I presented. So generally, we expect every mission statement expression to cover some 9 components. So let's analyze the one from Pepsi. Pepsi is saying that we aspire to make PepsiCo the world's premier consumer products. The world's premier consumer products company. Focus on convenient foods and beverages. We seek to produce healthy financial results rewards for investors as we provide opportunities for growth and enrichment to our employees, our business partners, and communities in which we operate. And in everything we do, we strive to act with honesty, openness, fairness, and integrity. If you take a sober look at the mission statement of PepsiCo, and you try to derive or deduce the 9 components that I indicated earlier on, you realize that they are able to explicitly capture 7 of them to the exclusion of 2. So let's all peruse it. When they say they aspire to be the world's premier consumer products, which one does it satisfy? Yeah. Hello, are you there?
Said they are competence.
They are what?
Competence.
Okay, good. Before I come to the PepsiCo analogy, let's go back so that I will be able to carry all of you along. Now, these are the 9 components I'm referring to. You see, the first component is what? Customer, the customer. So when we read the mission statement, we should be able to identify the customers of the targeted audience and our customers of the company. We should also be able to identify the product or services of the company, the targeted market, the technology that the firm currently uses, a statement on their ability, growth, or profitability. Okay, philosophy, self-concept, public image, and a statement on employees. So now let's go back. These are the 9 components. So let's go back to PepsiCo. So let's take it one after the other. When they say we aspire to make PepsiCo the world's premier consumer product, so the first part, which is making it the world's something, what does it connote?
The market.
Yes, the market. So the targeted market of Pepsi is the entire world, which is the market. Very good. That means some of you are following. Say ya na exams you're able to home. Now we are to home. Now beyond the world, no. So they say they want PepsiCo. We aspire to make PepsiCo the world's premier consumer product. Now, what does that also connote? Premier consumer products.
So the customers.
Thank you. Then the next one, so focus on convenient food and beverages.
Products and services.
Very good. Products and services. Then when they say they seek to produce healthy financial rewards for investors, what does that also connote?
Shareholders. Survival growth and then.
Very good. My bad. In fact, regular for no crowd, they were struggling. At least people are showing that most of you are working and you understand the nitty-gritties of what we are doing. Now, when they also say they want to provide, we provide opportunities for growth and enrichment to our employees. That one will be what?
Employees.
Yeah, so a statement connoting their commitment to employees' well-being. And when they say our business partners and the communities, what are they trying to typify?
The shareholders. Public image.
Public image, not shareholders. Or say our business partners and community. So our emphasis is on the community. And when they say we strive to act with honesty, openness, and fairness, fairness, and integrity, what are they projecting here?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. All right. So these are based on my own deductions. It is possible that when you also take your time to interrogate it, you may be able to decode some of the 9 components which I think are missing out, such as the technology and their distinctive competencies. If you take your time and you peruse it, you may also be able to come out with aspects of their mission statement, which resonates with the 9 components that all mission statements should strive to have. On that note, your next assignment is this, and it is going to be done in group fashion. And class reps, please pay keen attention to this because you are going to be responsible for the creation of the groups. So you are essentially supposed to evaluate 2 mission statements of companies of your choice. So you identify 2 companies and then you evaluate their 2 mission statements using the 9 components I have just taken you through, ranging from the customers to the employees. And you are, after evaluating it, you are supposed to comment on the adequacy or quality of the mission statement. So you have to take your time and peruse it. And this is supposed to be done in group fashion. So that is where the class reps will divide each cohort into 3 groups. Some of you still have your microphones on. Unless you are asking a question, it has to be off. For instance, if you pick HRM class, you will divide yourself into 3 groups, and this should be led by the class rep. The same should be done by the management group, the accounting, and then the procurement group. And the deadline for submission is 7 July. Please, is it clear?
Yes.
As much as possible, the group leaders should ensure that everyone participates in it. And I have my way of knowing whether people participated or not. So I'll not tell you now, but when it is finally submitted and I am auditing it, I'll be able to discern. Yeah, Grace Donko.
Sir.
Yeah, hello,
So
Grace.
with the example that you, yes, sir. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so with the example that you gave us earlier, you named the 9 components in the mission statement.
Yeah.
So with the assignment that you are giving to us, are we to name the components in it, or we should just write a mission statement including the 9 components without numbering it?
Well, if you number it in that order, it will make it easier for me to also identify to understand your explanations. But I'm not going to restrict you as to the sort of creativity or innovation you should use in answering the question. You are at liberty to communicate it in a way that will be more understandable to not only me, but your colleagues as well, because at the end of the day, they will all be learning from whatever submissions will be presented. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. And I say,
Oh.
in terms of exams, are you going to number the mission statement and we'll name the components, or you just put it there and answer?
Ask the question well, because I'm struggling to hear you. Get closer to your microphone.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I'm saying that in terms of exams, are you going to name or number the component in a statement? Or you just give us a mission statement and then we come up with the component in a statement?
Did someone hear her clearly so that the person can recap what she said? Because I'm struggling to hear her.
Yeah. Can hear.
Uh-huh. So it's not only me
So
that
I
is
think
struggling
because
to hear you.
I'm using my laptop.
So she said
So you
strong
can type it in the chat box. I will respond to you. Okay.
Okay.
Rita,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I saw your hand up.
Okay, sir. With the assignment,
Yeah.
with the 9 components. You see, with the PepsiCo,
Uh-huh.
there were other components that were missing.
Yeah.
What if we get this company's mission, the preferred company mission, and we also realize that there are some components missing? Is it okay to omit it, or we should look for another one that contains the 9 components?
Okay. So let me clarify something. In fact, it's a good question, and it projects whether the assignment has been well understood or not. No 2 or 3 organizations may have mission or vision statements that are the same. Sometimes, depending on their critical end in view, they may end up having a number of the components not explicitly captured in it. So this assignment is supposed to be an evaluation exercise. In your evaluation, you are supposed to tell me that after perusing company X mission statements, they were able to project 6 out of the 9 components based on this. Then you give me the evidence. Then you also tell me the ones that have been obscured from it. So it is supposed to be your evaluation. And that is why I said you are to comment on the adequacy or quality of the mission statement. For all you know, the services that is being rendered by the organization has nothing to do with the environment. So in your commentary, that is where you tell me whether the omission of that particular components will render their mission statement, it will affect the quality of their mission statement or not. So there isn't an answer that is cast in stones. It is an evaluative exercise, and so you should, as much as possible, be keen in your commentaries and your evaluations when you are doing the assignment. Rita, is it clear?
Okay, sir. Yes, it's clear, sir. Thank you.
All right. Did you, I believe you all did business ethics when you were in level 300, and I'm a boy.
Not all of us.
Hey, are you sure? Okay, procurement. Yeah, procurement people, you have a peculiar course structure. But beyond the procurement students, the rest of the class, I think even the accounting and finance one, you also did business ethics. All right, that is
Sir,
just
we
by the
didn't
way.
do it as a course. It was 1-1 in our course.
But that's still doing it. That's still doing it. All right. The point I'm trying to make is that we are not going to waste much time on this business ethics stuff. So business ethics essentially refers to the principles, the values, the standards that guide behavior in the world of work or in a particular community of practice. And they are also construed to be prerequisite for good business. Business ethics are said to be prerequisites for good strategic management and for that matter, the phrase good ethics is just good business tends to highlight the integral role that ethics play in the long-term success of an organization. Now, we are trying to say over here that having business ethics as part of your strategic management will help you realize your long-term aspirations is due to a number of reasons. And the first reason why it is important to have business ethics as a prerequisite to your strategic management process is that it can help you to build trust and reputation for your organization. So usually companies that are identified to indulge in ethical practices tend to build their trust with their trust with their customers and other key stakeholders. And as we are all aware, trust is said to be crucial for maintaining long-term relationship and for smooth functioning of businesses. And so if you are able to integrate business ethics into your strategic planning activities, then you stand a chance to have to build trust build trust between your organization and that of your customers. And in relation to the reputation part that business ethics strives to provide an organization, companies that are known for their ethical practices are also said to enjoy positive reputation, which can be significant, particularly in jurisdictions where such reputation will attract more patronage. So it may grant you an opportunity to have competitive advantage over your rivals that may be doing something unethical. And that sort of reputation can also help you to attract customers and investors. No investor will be inclined to pump their money into your organization when they believe your organization is indulging in some bad ethical practices. Another reason why business ethics should have a center stage in strategic management process is that it can help an organization to avoid legal issues. So legal issues here may imply that when organizations adhere to ethical standards, it will help them to comply with the laws and regulations that's maintained in that community of practice, thereby avoiding legal penalties which crop up when you violate such laws and regulations. The same can be said about sustainable practices. So companies that are characterized to be ethical companies are seen to be better prepared for changes. So whether the changes are cropping up as a result of changes in government regulations or any other factor that has shifted in the business environment, they will be inclined to adapt to them, especially when some of these changes border on environmental and sustainability issues. Then the last one that I'm going to give, as far as the alignment of business practices with strategic management is concerned, is that it can also help to create a suitable workplace culture. So having an ethical work environment, according to research, is said to foster a positive culture which can boost employee morale and productivity. And this positive work environment are seen to be devoid of other forms of behavior, I'm kind of saying sexual harassment, bullying, and all that. How do we even call it? Those of you that were in my class, organizational behavior. Sexual harassment, bullying, absenteeism. How do we conceptualize it? There is a term for it. So essentially, once you're able to create a work culture devoid of some of these practices, then it will boost the morale and level of productivity of your workforce. And that even stands a chance to result in higher level of employee retention. It also serves as a potential to attract talented workforce that aspire for such a work environment to apply and come and work for you. Now, the issue of social responsibility, environmental sustainability. These issues, that is business ethics, social responsibility, and environmental sustainability issues, are said to be interrelated, and they also impact all areas of strategic management process. So the point we are trying to make over here is that if you are on the strategic decision-making table, the strategic table, and you are forging the long-term aspirations of your organization, it is incumbent upon you to think about how best you can put some means or actions in place that will ensure that the actions of your organization is protective to the environment where, or the society where it is operating. You have to start thinking about it at that level before you even commence your operations. In the same vein, on the strategic table and during the strategy formulation, it is imperative for the strategists to identify how their operations and actions will rather protect and preserve the environment where they are operating rather than destroy it. So all those ideas must be identified during the strategy formulation and implementation phase. And it should also serve as the standard that we can discern whether the company, in terms of its final operations, is doing, engaging in an activity that is not environmentally friendly. Now, the 7 principles of admirable business ethics. So what we are trying to say over here is that all strategies which are formulated, implemented, and evaluated have ethical ramifications. And once you are able to exhibit some of these admirable ethical principles, in the long run, you will realize it does pay to be what? Ethical. And research suggests that high-performing companies generally exhibit these ethical principles. So if we're an organization that is also aspiring to make it in your community of practice, then it's suffice to emulate some of these ethical principles. Establishing an ethics culture. So essentially, we are referring to the degree to which the work environment can be structured to rather encourage individuals to be ethical rather than discouraging individuals from coming forth to hold the ethical code of conduct in high esteem. And a key ingredient for establishing an ethic culture is to develop a clear code of business ethics. And this code of business ethics is something that has to be followed through to the latter. It shouldn't be about merely having a code of ethics, but rather it should ensure that individuals engage in ethical business behaviors. So some of these ethical business behaviors include whistle blowing, which refers to the degree to which employees are encouraged or they are able to come forward to report any unethical violations that they may identify in the firm. Now, when employees practice whistleblowing and it is actually encouraged by the powers that be in the organization, that will amount to an entrenchment of higher standards in ethical practice. So organizations are admonished to have policies that encourage rather than discourage whistleblowing in the organization. It is also advised that firms should align their ethical and strategic decision-making by incorporating or embracing ethical considerations into their strategic planning. And once it is given the green light on the strategic table, it will send a signal that the organization holds in high esteem, high level of ethical standard, and anyone that may be doing otherwise will have to be jettisoned out of the organization. And that will create an environment where individuals will be forthcoming to fish out their peers that may be indulging in unethical behavior. Then it is also unethical to indulge in bribery, so we are all admonished to avoid it. Now, romance at the workplace is also encouraged, it's also discouraged, because when it is entrenched or it becomes markedly present in an organizational setting, it may result in favoritism complaints, wherein two or more candidates may indulge in an unethical behavior, but because one may be related to you on a romantic level, you may not be inclined to own such people out, and that may amount to favoritism in complaints. It may also result in confidentiality of records being breached, particularly if the two romantic couples are not supposed to have privy to a particular information, but because of the proximity and their relationship at the workplace, information may get sieved or leaked into such people. Then it may also result in reduced quality and quantity of work. So instead of individuals paying attention to individuals striving to contribute to organizational success, their fixation will be on things that they can do to strengthen their relationship. And this will not be a good thing to entertain at the workplace. Yes, Rita. Hello, Rita.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Sir, does that include a married couple? Because I know someone who recently got married to a lady and he has employed her at his workplace.
Okay. So I knew you were going to go there, because usually when it comes to workplace romance, it is quite difficult to draw the line, because in certain situations and scenarios, the individuals that are indulging in workplace romance are able to operate in such a manner that it does not compromise their contribution to organizational success. But in other scenarios and jurisdictions too, in fact, in most cases, it always results in a situation where whenever they are experiencing some form of conflict, it tends to affect their contribution to organizational success. So it is against these spirits and philosophy. That is why we are being admonished to discourage some of these things. But of course, if it is working for the company in question, then they may decide not to have any policy discouraging workplace romance, particularly if the partners involved have formalized their relationship through marriage. Eric Kofi Brown.
Yeah, sir.
Eric.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sir, it's true. In my company where I'm working at, GoFace, you can marry to anybody, but you cannot marry to someone with the same department.
Okay. All
So
right.
in our ethics, you can marry to somebody in the same company like GoFace.
But
Sometimes
not-
when we are in the same, yes, sometimes when we are in the same department, they will transfer someone, one of them, they will separate you. One of them can go to Takwa and the other one will stay in Damine. Or
that is
otherwise, they will-
after the marriage, right?
yes, please.
Okay. But what about if it is not formalized through marriage, but they are just maybe dating or courting? How will that be treated? Is it encouraged or discouraged?
No, it's discouraged. We have workplace, respectful workplace program
Code
that
of
they are
conduct.
doing. Yes, please. So it's better for you to at least declare that maybe this lady is my girlfriend or we are dating, for them to know. Other than that, when you are caught, they will deal with you.
All right. Okay.
So we have a way to declare that you
Mm.
are going or you are outing with this person. This person is your girlfriend, and you both of you are maybe you have a future, something that you are going to marry. That one is
right.
fine. They will have a means to deal with you, two of them.
All right. Somebody has sent us something in the chat box. Wow, shit. I'm out for contributing. You see where Grace Donko is typing.
It's because she's doing.
Ah, okay. I hear. All right. So enough about the workplace romance. Social policy. This one you can read it. Environmental sustainability. This one too is quite straightforward. So when research suggests that the environment as we have now is constantly going through changes. And so if we do not engage in practices and procedures that can sustain it, we may endanger it for our current use as well as the benefit of posterity. So the ecological challenge facing all organizations now requires managers to formulate strategies that will, at great length, preserve and conserve the natural resources that surrounds their business. Okay, so issues about water pollution, air pollution, as much as possible, you should be able to control pollution. So environmental sustainability borders on the attempt by an organization to declare and carry out certain operational activities that will not demean and destroy the environment. And companies that have direct correlation with the environment in terms of their operation, it is also expected that annually they will generate what we call sustainable report. And this sustainable report is their pronouncements, which indicates the extent to which they are contributing to making the environment a safe haven rather than destroying the environment. So those of you in the mining industry, you realize that annually you will have to report on your activities and how it is affecting the environment and the measures that you have taken to rectify such activities. This particular effort, that is sustainable reports, is expected to suggest that the organization is adhering to the country's charter to some of these ISO certification. So typically, ISO has a family of standards that all organizations, irrespective of their operations, are expected to comply with. And specific, so there are a number of these ISO family standards, including environmental management systems, environmental auditing, environmental performance evaluation, life cycle assessment, and all that. But the one that is of keen interest when it comes to strategic planning or strategic management is the degree to which they will comply with environmental management systems, which is the ISO 14001. And that tends to set the standard for adopting standards adopted by thousands of firms worldwide. So once it is adopted and assented to by a country and within your community of practice, you are expected to adhere to it in order not to lose your international license to practice. And this is something that most governments and countries assent to because it is perceived to be a venture which, when carried through to the latter, it can ensure that our environment is not destroyed just for the purposes of the economic profits that the companies may be aspiring to derive in the interim. So this is your reading assignment. This one, you are not going to submit it to me. It is something that you should read on, and then we will discuss when we meet next week. I suspect those of you doing supply chain management, you may be privy to the triple bottom line. So as your reading assignment, just Google it and read what it is all about. So triple bottom line talks about three main things that corporate social responsibility should strive to attain, which you should look out for. All right.